Hello everyone and welcome to Hearthstone's Free-to-Play Champions, where we try to reach legend rank in Hearthstone as a free-to-play player. And today, we will be looking at some of the decks we created when we were trying to reach level 10 with all of the classes in Hearthstone. So first up, I wanted to highlight this Demonhunter deck that we created. At its core, it's your usual core set Demonhunter deck, but we have modified some bits here and there to give it a little bit of flexibility. So we have a burst package here in the form of Penflinger and some spells. We have added a way to react to the board using either Direwolf Alpha or Raid Leader combined with Coordinated Strike. And we have added some high-end minions to help you survive the later stages of the game and be able to close off that games in the form of Ashtongue Battlelord, Chilvin Yeti, and Overlord Rantak. We have also added some ways to generate random minions or discover a spell in the form of Brightwing and Venomous Scorpid, because in these stages of the game you usually don't have access to all of the fancy expansion cards, so Brightwing and Venomous Scorpid are great ways to generate them randomly and hopefully using them to win the game. So our first game was against another Demonhunter, and as you can see our starting hand wasn't that good. So let me pause the video and talk about it real quick. So the first thing you need to know about Hearthstone, and probably the most important one, is what to keep or replace in your starting hand. And in order to do that, there are many factors that can be effective in your decision making, so I'm going to teach you all about it in an example. For example, our deck is an aggressive/tempo deck that we need to dominate the earlier stages of the game and close the game as fast as we can. And in order to do that, we need to have good early games and early turns. And as you can see, we don't have anything to play on turn 1 or turn 2, and no Spectral Sight on 2 is not that good if it's not outcasted. So I dished them away, and instead we got 2 Red Guild Razor Jaws, a Battle Fiend, and a Spectral Sight, which is better than what we had before. So going into this game, if we're facing an opponent that is also playing tempo/aggro decks, we will be behind on tempo because, well, we're going second. And by the looks of it, we are facing a tempo deck. So now I had 2 options. Option A, I could have just played my deck the normal way I would and just hope that I have the better cards. Or option B, we could have just slowly destroyed their tempo while gaining ours, which is why I coined the first Red Guild Razor Jaw. However, the second turn I started doing what I like to do most, which is trying to bait my opponents into making a mistake. And that was why I played the Battle Fiend. I was trying to force them to trade their Sightless Watcher into it. But unlucky for us, they had a weapon, so they used the weapon and killed it. So the next turn, I was forced to use the Red Guild Razor Jaw to clear their minion. And at their next turn, they will play a 2-mana 4/4 and a 1/1 alongside it. And now again, I have 2 options. Either I can bait them with a Mankirk or just use my Coordinated Strike. So I just played the Mankirk. Now if they trade the Mankirk with a minion or just let it live, I will kill the 4/4 anyway. But again, we got unlucky. They had a Chaos Strike. They attacked the Mankirk with their face, cleared it, and now we have 2 4/4s to deal with. And for the 3rd time this game, I tried to bait them again into just getting distracted, killing my Brightwing, and I've drew some cards, I've generated some cards along the way, and I was hoping to find my Venomous Scorpid so I can discover a board clear spell, but unluckily I didn't, and they just ignored the Brightwing and cleared it with a Coordinated Strike. So it was at this point that I realized that I really need to start respecting their minions, so I was forced to play my Direwolf Alpha combo with my Coordinated Strike And then I just used my spare mana to play Sigil Runner to just draw a card. And luckily for us, we drew our Battle Tongue Ashlord. What? Battle Lord Ashtongue. I just created a new card. And I'm saying that luckily for us because it has good stat lines, it has taunt, it has lifesteal, it can just help us regain some of the HP we lost there. So that's pretty much as good as it gets. Again, they cleared my Direwolf Alpha with their Gunnar Warsmiths, giving them some attack points. And now I've used my Raid Leader and Ashtongue Battle Lord to make taunt with 4 attacks that would just clear anything on their board, because they all have less than they all have 4 HP, and my Ashtongue Battle Lord will just kill them if they try to attack into it, and I will regain some of my HP. And now it's the place that they made the mistake of playing all of their cards, because now I play my Venomous Scorpion. I discovered the Immolation Aura, and that helped me clear some of their minions. However, now my Scorpion is at 1 HP, and I was expecting them to, use their hero power and attack it, because that was what they were doing all this game. However, they made the mistake of not respecting the poisonous minion on the board, and they just let it live. And that's what I guess costed them the game. They just attacked my face with all they got and ended their turn. So on my turn, I just cleared their taunt with the venomous minion, the poisonous minion, and then I was ahead on board. I drew one Aldraki Wall Blade, so I had some lifesteal, but I decided not to use it yet because I could have used it the next turn, but instead I could have used a minion this turn, so it would have been ready to attack the next turn. And they just didn't have anything to play now. Now it's the point that we are ahead on board. We are ahead on, how many cards we had on our hand and in our hand. And this is the place that our opponents slowly realized that, they're going to lose the game. So they conceded. So I wanted to highlight this game against this priest that I was playing and teach you about something you shouldn't do in your games. As you can see, I don't have any cards left in my hand. My board is almost, lost, and this priest has some cards in his hand. He has complete board control, and the only thing that I'm ahead is life points. So I just discovered some spells, used the pen finger to to damage their face a bit. And as you can see, I don't have lethal setups, so I can't kill him yet. But he assumes that I have it and just conceded. But if he hadn't done that, he would have just won the next turn after. So the lesson is, don't concede your games early, because, you never know what happens next. As a matter of fact, I'm going to show you a game which, spoiler alert, we will win at 1 HP. So I wanted to highlight this Frenzy Control Warrior that we created. It's basically the opposite of what we wanted to do with Demonhunter. With this deck you want to try to just survive the early and mid game and start grinding your opponent in the later stages of the game, or just force them to concede after they have run out of resources. And in order to do that, we have our athletic studies with some rush minions to just control the board in the earlier stages of the game. We have our Shield Maiden, our Armor Smith combined with Shield Slam to use the armor that we got to clear a single minion. And we have our Brawls in case just our opponent made a wide board, we can just use a Brawl to clear them all. All except one, but yeah, you get the point. And then we have our Frenzy package being Warsong Envoys, Peons, our Anchorman, our Razor main Raiders. And you can resurrect them with Overlord Saurfang in the later stages of the game and instantly triggering their frenzy effects. And then we have our late game bombs, Troublemaker combined with Strongman. If you play it when you have a Strongman in your hand, the Strongman will be a 0 mana 6/6 with Taunt. You have Alexstrasza to either deal 8 damage to an opponent or just heal for 8. And then you have Ysera as a late game bomb that can help you close out some of the games. So let's go ahead and see some highlight games and see how this deck performed. So our first game was against this mage. And as I've mentioned earlier, our mulligan is the most important part of the game. We could have replaced Sword Eater and the Anchorman, but I decided to keep the Anchorman because it has Rush, it has the frenzy effect of drawing us a card, and well, I only have one of it in my deck, and it's nice if we could resurrect one of it using the Overlord Saurfang later in this game. So that's why I kept the 5-drop, but I usually wouldn't. It's a risk that I decided to take. So we didn't have anything to play on our first turn. It's completely fine because, well, we are going to play the game defensively and, well, there's nothing to react to here. And luckily our opponent, well, they weren't there. They skipped their first turn. And again on turn 2 we had nothing to do. We just used the hero power and ended our turn. And, well, now their rope started burning again. But at the later stages of their turn, they came back, they played a River Crocolisk, which, well, it's fine. At this stage of the game, you couldn't really expect anything better than that. And we played our Ironclad, and since we have armor, it got +2/+2, resulting in pretty sizable threat. And, well, they played an Anayobot, and looking at their minions, well, none of them have more than, well, 2 attack. So it was safe to play a Patron here, because I knew that I will get the frenzy effect off. They used the coin, they played the Gurubashi Berserker, and, well, now I knew that I'm going to get the Patron's effect off 100%. So the next turn, they just pointed face and played their Berserker. On our turn, I traded my Patron to their Taunt. I played the Anchorman, draw a card because of the frenzy effect, and, well, I completely ignored the Gurubashi Berserker for a reason, because if I had attacked into it, it would have gotten more damage and could have traded. But instead of doing that, I just skipped trading with it or dealing with it, so I can do it the next turn. And there was something weird that they did this turn, and it was just using the firewall to damage my face when I have such a big board presence right there. They could have used it at least to clear one of the minions, but, well, they did what they wanted to do. So I played the Shield Maiden. I instantly gained, well, almost all of the damage I took in form of armor, and now from here forward, well, they're losing the game because I'm getting all of the board presence I needed. And this turn I knew that they are going into 7 mana, and usually mages have fire strike at 7 mana, so they can just clear anything I play. So instead of playing for the board, I generated some value. I used the minefield to try to get multiple patrons, but we got unlucky, and it's fine. So we just ended our turn with the 2 minions on board. And now in their next turn I was expecting a Flame Strike, but they did not play one. They played the Secret instead, and I thought the Secret might be Flame Ward, but it wasn't, and it turns out that the Secret was Mirror Entity. So I cleared whatever they had on the board, and it was at this point that the game was pretty obvious that they are going to lose, so they conceded. So our next game was against this shaman. We had a pretty nice starting hand, but I decided to get greedy and just replace most of them, trying to find a better early game. However, we did not. It's still okay. We got, well, pretty much lucky because our opponent didn't have a play on turn 1 and they didn't have anything to play on turn 2 either, which is perfect for us because we just want to react to whatever they play. We top decked an Armorsmith, and on their third turn they played a Venomous Scorpid, and now I knew that on their next turn they will trade the Venomous Scorpid to my Armorsmith, and so I decided to, well, bait them with a patron. So I used the coin, I played one of my patrons as a bait to force them to use their Venomous Scorpid to trade with the patron instead of killing my Armorsmith, which will result in us not losing the game in the future. You will see it. So they played Guidance, discovered a spell, and they have played an Unbound Elemental. At this stage I didn't really consider the Unbound Elemental a threat, so I just used my hero power and I was trying to get some more armor to be able to effectively use my shield slam. And then they played the taunt, discovered the spell damage minion. However, they didn't care about my Armorsmith and just hit face. So because we had enough HP, I just played my Razormane Raider. However, the next turn they had a really crazy turn. They made me reach 1 HP with using some spells and giving their Unbound Elemental some attack damage and Wind Fury. Not gonna lie, I thought I was dead there. And, well, any other player at this stage would have conceded. But there is a way we could have won this, and luckily for us, our Razormane Raiders Frenzy effect triggered on their Unbound Elemental, and since we had 2 armor, we could have used our Shield Slam to clear their Unbound Elemental, and I've just hit their Zappy Boy with my Armorsmith just to get some armor to be able to survive a spell in case they had one. But, well, at this point I was just betting all in on the fact that they don't have any spell left. The next turn I just played my Anchorman, used my hero power just to keep getting that, well, life gain. I discovered a Rush minion, and then I traded my Armorsmith to their Zappy Boy. And why did I do that? Because at this stage we have 2 Shield Maidens, and even if they managed to deal some damage to my face using some spells, I could have just used the Shield Maiden and the hero power to regain all of the damage dealt. However, on the next turn I decided to, well, play a risky turn, or have a risky turn better, and just play my Troublemaker and the Strongman combo that I told you about to start winning the game instead of just trying not to lose. Well, defense is the best offense, I guess. Well, wait, offense is the best defense. In this case, the 0 mana 6/6 defense is the best offense. So that play forced them to, well, use their battle cries and, well, not point face for once. And, well, it was at this stage that they knew that the game is almost over, because we kept getting this board presence, and they just conceded. And as I've shown you right here, we won the game at 1 HP. So that's pretty much all I wanted to show you for this episode of Free-to-Play Champions. If you have enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't. And if you feel like I made a misplay somewhere, feel free to let me know down in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Hello everyone, Editor Mars here again. Thanks for watching. I just wanted to apologize for uploading this video a day late and tell you that we will upload another episode of Free to Play Champions midweek to well, compensate, I guess. So, see you then.